Hi, and welcome to the Prodigal Son series. Did you know that God had favorites? Well, before I get to that, let me ask you, is it fair to have favorites? Is it fair when your own kin considers other people better than you? Is it fair when your spouse treats others better and gives them uh, their valuable time than you? That when they talk over the phone, or sit down over a cup of coffee or tea or taken to dinner or in that matter gifted with invaluable items better than you have ever received from them, is it fair really? Yeah. Is it fair for one to care for the welfare of another family at the expense of his own family? I have witnessed incidents where some people have relegated their own families in order to take care of outsiders, people who basically have no part in their inheritance. It is divine to care for the needy, but when one commits himself beyond definition, to an extent that he ignores his own family, thus subjecting them to utter stress, then this extreme becomes an issue and a big concern. I beg to read our text from Luke, the book of Luke, chapter 15, verse 25 to 30. Now, his elder son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father has killed the fatted calf, because he has received him safe and sound. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this thy son was come, which has devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. Well, I can understand the plight and the predicament of the elder brother, because, well, the younger brother, the notorious one, takes his share of the wealth and runs away for plunder and wild living. The elder brother stays at home with the father. The elder brother stays at home, caring for the father and the family property. It is evident from the elder brother's argument that he managed the family business. He had much to do with the status and wealth, the prosperity of the family compared to his prodigal brother. However, when the prodigal son, the outsider, returns from his wasteful life, he is accorded a grand reception. Is that fair? Really? How much do people treat the outsider better than those who have labored with us? Picture this. This lady sees great potential in her fiancé, who hails from a poor family. She sacrifices her life and savings for the welfare of this poor guy. She makes sure her friend and fiancé excels in his career. Eventually, this gentleman graduates and is employed with a good salary and benefits. And after all her efforts and sacrifices, the man decides to dump her and marries another lady. Tell me now, is that fair? After planting the wealth, the outsider comes back to a great treat and celebration. The outsider is clothed with the best gown. His shame and nudity is covered. He is kept warm and attractive. He becomes a beauty emblem in authority and power. The outsider is no longer the lost son, is no longer the prodigal son. He dances with pride and becomes the center of attraction and admiration. Is that fair? Was the treatment that the prodigal son accorded worth it? Was it not a bad gesture, a bad example to others that one could easily run away and come back to a glorious reception? This outsider is given a ring. He gets the sense of belongingness for being accepted back. The ring symbolizes love. The ring is a sign of authority. He is far much loved and appreciated than the home keepers. The outsider gets back his credibility in the family, which distinguishes him from the rest of the servants. He feels great and honored. Well, that probably is fine. It's okay, but not at the expense of the neglected homemaker. The outsider, again here, we see him having sandals put on his feet, which symbolize responsibility and duty. Sandals give comfort to an individual and strength to work. The lost son was given comfort and strength, and he was consoled accordingly. Here we see the outsider, the prodigal one. He gets the fatted calf slaughtered for him, and a great party hurriedly set for him. Really? When the elder brother, the guy indoors, came, he was amazed at what he witnessed. He complained, and many times we look at this big brother in this day. Today, I wish to support the fate of this big brother. This is because many times we act like the father, ignorant of the elder son, who is always an icon in the family tree. People are fond of the lost more than of those who are laboring with them. We are fond of the outsider at the expense of those with us. We care so much about the welfare of people who have no portion in our inheritance than those who have labored with us to earn it. We've seen people, buying gifts and presents for the lost. We give the best of our strength to the outsider and establish credentials with even those who have wounded us than those who are in our flock and family. We protect and cover the shame of the lost. We give and sacrifice to the lost, yet neglect those within our field and network. We rather take other people out. We treat them, we take them out for dinner and neglect our own children. We sacrifice to solve other people's problems, yet our own family issues lie hanging before us. Gaping before us. We care about others, the welfare of others, and our image. We care about the lost than our own. We give the lost the best at the expense of those with us. How much do we forget those who have labored for us, for the outsider? How much do we forget even the pastors and ministers who did pray for us, and churches that have raised us? Now that we are employed and financially stable, we care about the ministers and pastors in the town churches and have duly forgotten our own bicycle riding village pastors. I like to an extent the attitude of the prodigal son. When he returned, he did not intend to return as a son, but as a servant. Luke chapter 15 verse 17 to 19, he reads, "And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I no more worthy to be called thy and am I no more worthy to be called thy son? Make me as one of thy hired servants." What I like about this son is the fact that he did not consider himself worthy to be treated as a son in that family. Here, everything looked fine for the elder brother until the one he considers an outsider is received with so much joy that he begins to question his importance in that household. It isn't until then that he feels he's not as valued. To an extent, I see that even the servants seem to mock and laugh at him. The prodigal son went forth to his father and declared his unworthiness. His actions expressed what he could not voice, and the treatment he received should have been instead for the older son who had stood by his father and worked hard by his father's side. He asked to be a servant in his own home because he felt he was an outsider. Although the prodigal son is not really an outsider, this does bring things into perspective. The father tried to inform the son that all what he had belonged to him too, but at times we appreciate the honor of having our own, spoiling us with whatever belongs to us. It makes sense. It beats all understanding for an outsider to consider himself or herself more esteemed than those who sacrificed and labored for their colleagues. So, before your colleagues hand over things you really do not deserve, just challenge those handing their paycheck. Consider asking them whether their kids' basic welfare, tuition, school fees, insurance, their spouse's welfare, rent, mortgage, food, loans, etc. have been serviced. Ask yourself if you really deserve the fatted calf. At least the prodigal son did not ask the father to share his wealth again. He was wise enough to know his position in the pecking order and thus humbled himself. God has favorites. As a matter of fact, I consider myself highly favored of him. But the truth is that God is sovereign. We are not. God bless you.